Welcome to ReEnvision, the podcast where we embrace change as one of life's most profound rhythms. I'm your host, Bédard, and change is my playground. Curiosity is the signature vibe. Joy, love, magic, and freedom are the frequencies I move with. Courage is the embodied state, and duality is my jam. I love to reveal light and darkness, permanence and impermanence, equanimity and chaos, oneness and distinctiveness. Here we have full permission to be ourselves, to explore, to dream, to discover. We'll tap into the wisdom that has always been within as we navigate change with simplicity, lightness, and fluidity. Open to new understandings, new perspectives, and even greater potentialities. So whether you're seeking inspiration, empowerment, or simply a space to reflect and contemplate, you're in the right place. Let's get started. My God, I am living for this song, these vibes. I am just so in awe with this new branding of the ReEnvision podcast. I am so grateful, so happy, so stoked. Let me know if this new one has been getting you moving. Are you dancing while you're listening to this? I was thinking of maybe just putting, because the original song is almost 4 minutes. It really is building up to these beats, those tribal beats that are really helping us to remember something within, something that is buried down inside, something that we know it has always been with us, and that we just have to tap into and just follow whatever this is driving us, this is bringing us to. I love this. I'm so happy. Welcome back to the ReEnvision Podcast for this season 2, episode 1. I am very happy to be back. I am very to be back in the new year, and I'm very to be back after a little period of time where I was going through so much integrations in my life, in my personal being, that producing this first season has made me walk through, that has shown me, that had me learn a whole bunch of different things that I knew about myself, but I didn't fully have the scale insight, the altitude vision of it. When I was a little girl, I was always in awe with life itself, anything that was living. I love to observe people. I love to talk to other people, no matter what their age were, no matter what the language was. I was so curious to see what was the other person's life like, what was their point of view. And as soon as I could start reading, I remember I started reading very, very young, and I was devouring books, and mostly books that were either on an aspect of life. For example, I remember I was 8 or 9 years old, and I was reading books that were meant for teens, that were meant for it was a series of books, and they were meant for between 13 and 16 years old, for kind of accompany teens in, the changes that we have in there. But I was so fascinated by what was there, not because maybe I was in advance, but what I mean by that is it's not because I was in anticipation of it. I was just so curious. I also remember on I think it was my 9th birthday, one of my mom's friends gave me a book it was actually, you may know this book. It's called Christian F. And it was on a heroin addict in Berlin. And it was the whole world of that. It actually made a movie. It's actually memoirs. And I was reading biographies all the time. The perspectives of people were just so fascinating for me. And how they actually moved through life, how they went through the changes that were happening in their lives, how they were coping with the different aspects of it, where they were finding solutions, how they were finding solutions, where were they failing. And when I say failing, I don't want to say failing, but like where were they like having missteps or mishaps where like they had to course correct. I have been fascinated with change and with courage for as long as I can remember. I've been fascinated with life, and I could not envision myself doing anything else than what I'm doing right now, which is to be a change whisperer and a courage mentor for people that are coming to my world. And the whole process leading to here was kind of a process because when you're looking at what a coach is, usually a coach, you hire them because you want to get from a point A to a point B. So there's a very clear path that you need to follow. So it depends. It can be a life coach, obviously, but for any types of coaching, when you want to learn how to paint, when you want to learn how to play music, teachers or some sort of coaches when they have a curriculum to get you from one place to the other. And I've been a teacher for all my life because I've always loved to share my wisdom for as long as I can remember as well. I was a teacher and I gather information and I transfer information to people. And this was really something that I was tapped into for a very long time. And when I was working with my mentor, when I left Canada, I went through a whole process of rethinking what kind of business I wanted to have, what did it look like, and who I wanted to help specifically. And if you haven't listened to the podcast episode that I did with Claude Khalil on the relationship within, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. This is actually gold. And you're going to see the types of relationship that you can have with a mentor. And she came into my life, and I actually tell this story in the podcast episode, so I won't repeat it here. She came into my life, and we've worked together for 6 months, and she was asking me, what is the transformation that you're actually bringing people? And then I was like, well, it depends on what they want. They come to me, and then I help them go through whatever they're going on. And she's like, yes, but what is the transformation? I'm like, well, it depends on what they want. They come to me and then I can actually guide them. And it's always been like this, not professionally. I've always been a person that people come to. I know a lot of things. Not just as facts, but I also make a lot of links, and I understand them in a deeper way, how they move together in our life tapestry, how they all relate, how they weave into who we are, what we do, where we come from, where we're heading to. So, and the other thing that I have is that I can really see, I can really feel people. I can really pour myself into the people that I work with. I can see them, I can feel, and I can guide them through whatever they're going. I've been through so many changes in my life, whether it was divorce, whether it was moving to another country, lose their parent, changing jobs, making really big job change decisions, changing careers. Everything that I've been moving through was about change. And it was about cultivating the courage and the standards and holding tight to our values, my values, through all of this. And when things were really getting mucky and difficult, I always knew how to connect with my joy, and I always knew how to connect with love and magic and the freedom that I was looking for. So through all the work that I was doing with her, like I was like, well, I'm guiding people through change. But for me, change, like all coaches and all mentors guide people through change. So I couldn't really see like what was like so special about me. Like I know that I'm special, but like how could I convey this? Like when you get into my world, when you get into my energy, people get it. But how do I convey this on social media, for example, on different platforms? How do I convey this to people that have like less than a minute to know what I'm about? And last year, it clicked. I was talking to my husband and I said, well, my whole thing is guiding people to embrace change, not resist, and like really embrace it and see where we can see the lightness in the darkness, see what's permanent in all the impermanence. Where can you cultivate and connect and center and ground in equanimity when everything seems to be super chaotic? How do we feel that we're belonging to something bigger than us when so many things separate us? And through all of that, I was like, well, I'm a change coach. I'm a change mentor. That's what I do. That's what I'm all about. And it's kind of weird, but at the same time, it's so that. And when I was in the middle of doing season 1, like I knew like that was coming. I knew that was building up, but I had a plan to, to kind of get into the technology and get those episodes out there and having like people come and have nice discussion with me on different subjects. This season, I really, really want to embrace who I am, embrace the fact that I'm a change whisperer and a courage mentor. This is what I love. This is what I vibe. This is what I live for. And when I was looking at all that path, I remember one particular moment in my life. And this is where I can illustrate how theory and experience is not the same thing. When I was a little girl, I had like some sort of like a castle that had like little figurines, and I could open doors and close doors, and they could actually like go and through slides. And in the castle, there was a dungeon with a door at the bottom. And I love that little door because it was like, for me, I didn't have like the dungeon thought of it. For me, it was like kind of like the little womb of my castle. And one day I trapped a caterpillar. That's the word I was looking for. I trapped a caterpillar in the dungeon and I closed the door. And, like I must have been 6 or 7 years old. And I forgot the caterpillar there. And the next day, I went to see my castle that was outside. I had left my castle outside in the backyard. And I opened the door. It must have been like the next day or 2 days later. And I opened the door and I saw that there was a little cocoon. And I was like, oh, what's that? Like it's weird. And I didn't really make anything out of it. And a few days later, I went back and I opened the door and a butterfly came out. And I remember exactly the feeling of my little girl inside of me that was witnessing this amazing, amazing transformation from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Now, we all have this image of the butterfly, the transformation. It's really a symbol of change. And for me, it's not so much the symbol as much as that moment where, as a biologist, obviously, I know what the process is between the caterpillar, the cocoon, and a butterfly. And I can explain it with my adult mind, but my child heart is still in awe with that moment, with that experience. And I want you to be in awe with your own experience of change, with your own experiences of change, and see how they bring you to the next step of your journey. Now, this is a space that I want us to cultivate and to have together. This podcast where you can always re-envision your life. I love you, and I'll see you, and I'll hear you very soon. Thank you for being part of today's ReEnvision episode. As the seasons of life shift, I invite you to always connect with the truth that you hold the power to navigate your own path with courage and wisdom. Embracing change with an open heart is central, for within lies the potential for remarkable growth and evolution. If you know someone who would benefit from this conversation, I'd be honored, truly honored, if you shared it with them and spread the love. If this podcast has resonated with you, please subscribe on your favorite platform, leave a heartfelt review, and share it in your network. You can stay connected with me on social media at ME Lifestyle Design, where I continue to share insights and inspiration. Until our next encounter, remember to re-envision your life with love, alignment, and purpose. Keep cultivating your curiosity, finding joy, magic, and freedom as often as you can. Now, today, and tomorrow. I love you. I see you. I feel you.